had a full-on fucking meltdown. Like, they did a full, like weird twin meltdown at this random person that walked in. That they were like
people. Crab people.
It feels like
people.
They start this thing of that they're being hunted.
Wow.
Once the police left the women alone to conduct actual investigations, Sabina and Ursula snuck out of the police station and boarded a bus heading from Liverpool to London at 11:30 a.m., again for reasons unknown. Now, once the twins got on the bus, the other passengers noticed that something was a bit off. Both sisters were nervous and both clutched their bags as if their lives depended on it, refusing to stow them in the luggage compartments overhead for any reason.
I don't know if these are like an American Greyhound, but do you have any idea how messed up you have to be noticeably strange on a bus?
On a bus?
Because you have people with like holding a puppet that is their mother's head.
Oh, yeah,
like,
yeah,
you
yeah.
just have so many different folks.
I thought a bus driver's job was to be both blind and able to only see the road.
Yeah, Ben, do you remember when we took that Greyhound bus from New York down to Washington, D.C., and the woman behind us spent the entire trip practicing what she was going to say to Hillary Clinton when she got there?
Wow. Well, she had a lot to say.
She's right there. You know what I mean? She's not in the White House, but she might be somewhere in Washington, D.C.
Oh, man.
Well, the bus driver noticed the erratic behavior as well, and when he pulled over at one of those charming British motorway rest stops, he told the twins that he'd have to search their bags for illegal items if they wanted to continue the journey. The twins naturally refused, so the bus driver left them behind. On his way out, though, he informed the manager of the service station that there were two identical twins out in the parking lot acting suspiciously, erratically, and quite possibly criminally.
Well, they were so...
But you're the manager of this service station. Don't you just want to be like, then get them the fuck out of here?
No, you just
Remember
drop
that when
them.
they were on your bus and you just dropped them off in my rest station?
No, they always have one new cop there that's like waiting, and he's got to come up and be like, all right then, let's get to have a bit of what's going on here, right then. But the two girls they were dressed, it's not suspiciously, they look like, kind of like soccer moms.
Yeah.
But like all zipped up, like very small, like soccer mom, like visors, but pulled real low.
Soccer
And then
moms on the run.
The fucking big the big like kind of like parkas zipped all the way up to the top of their throats, and then they're holding their bags above their breasts. Like if you see it, the CCTV footage of them just like scurrying around like they look like cartoon burglars.
Well, once the bus was gone, the manager took a look for herself and saw the twins clutching their bags to their chest while having an intense conversation. Manager said that she couldn't hear the content, but it looked to her like they were plotting something.
She wanted them to be plotting something because then she could be an action hero.
Well, not wanting to risk the possibility of some bizarre terrorist attack, the manager called the police. But when officials arrived and spoke with the sisters, they said the Ericksons seemed normal, even happy.
Which we see evidence of in the documentary where they kind of flip. All of a sudden there's like, oh, they're just like normal ladies and they're just joking and talking like
Right.
everything's cool.
So how much of that psychosis is taking over? Because it seems like if they can flip from normal to plotting, then they must be aware.
It's what they're aware of is their paranoia. They're aware that somebody is out to get them. So what they're doing is they are changing their behavior in order to continue the delusion. They are lost in a delusion. So if they speak to a cop, then they're
going to act like nothing's wrong.
They're going to act like nothing's wrong because they have to get away.
I see. Also, they are now folding the cops into their delusion and saying that they are now also being persecuted by people again, not cops, humans in cop uniforms. That's like a hook that becomes thing. I mean, like, oh, you're just wearing a uniform. That doesn't make you a cop. Like, you get into this whole world where, like, you're actually right, and then blows my mind. Semantically, you're like, oh, fuck, yeah, the object is not its name.
Well, but I do, uniforms do matter. If I see a pilot and he's not a real pilot and he's in pilot clothes, then it's scary if he's not a real pilot.
It is very scary.
Yeah.
Well, because they were happy and nice, the cops just gave them a phone number for the bus company so they could be collected by the next coach to London. Now later, the sisters' older brother Bjorn would say that his sisters were running away from quote-unquote maniacs. but nobody has been able to spot anyone approaching them or following them on any of the CCTV footage captured that day.
This was the center of their hallucination. Is that they believed that they were being attacked, essentially, and stalked by groups of people that were looking to sexually assault them. They thought that there was, and they thought that they were running from place to place, and this essentially it sounds like it's very targeted individual talk, because they thought a whole community of people were trying to kill them.
Interesting.
But spurred on by the delusion that their brother weakly defends, the Erickson twins inexplicably took off on foot down the median of the M6 motorway, and that's when the chaos truly began. Now, in the UK, it's illegal to walk down the center median of a motorway, so when a CCTV operator saw two women walking between two busy multi-lane roads in the middle of heavy afternoon traffic, he called the police. But before the police even showed up, Sabina and Ursula, for some reason, decided to cross 3 lanes of heavy motorway traffic from the median to the shoulder. On the way, Sabina was grazed by a compact car traveling about 50 miles an hour and suffered minor injuries, but otherwise they got across okay.
It was like the school in stunt woman acting, because she rolled away from it, but she just I don't know how to describe it. They casually step into oncoming traffic as if they are just crossing the street. They do look hurried, as they are looking, because we watched that CCTV for them kind of looking around and shit, and obviously, but then they just kind of make the left and walk into traffic.
I do love this new psychological breakdown of the game Frogger. And I can't wait for them to come out with Crazy Frogger. Why is he doing what he does?
Not that Frogger.
Now, the car that got the call from dispatch that day just so happened to be shadowed by a camera crew filming an episode of Traffic Cops. And it's for this reason that we know exactly how this whole conflict went down.
Do you think of Traffic Cops, when they are bored, they go to some kind of crumpet store?
Probably. I'm sure that they do.
Crumpets suck.
Crumpets aren't bad.
You ever had one?
Yeah.
When have you had a crumpet?
When I went to get the crumpet at the crumpet stop. I'm sure I've had a crumpet. I don't know.
They're dry, and they suck.
Okay. Now I don't have enough evidence to make my argument, so fine.
I've been going and buying a bunch of meat pies at Miles of Kiswick here in New York City. It's a wonderful little British food store.
Wow. Are you the only one?
Yeah.
Yeah, but because there's also Italian food, Chinese food, Thai food. There's
Every
just so
other
much
incredible
better
cuisine
food.